Greetings and welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is October 1st. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I am doing fantastic. It is the first of the month. This is 2 months in a row.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Two of the best months of the year.
True.
I also have to say, I'm feeling worlds better than I felt the last couple days because I got a real night of sleep for the first time in a while.
Likewise. I'm with you. I heard you talking about with Johnson Wagner, which everybody should go listen to this. Assume you have by the time you're getting to this. About just totally out of gas. I think we might have been Sunday night. Hand up, maybe not our best pod. Like we try to be, we're pretty self-critical here. Usually don't like things I write, or I don't know if it was our best. 2 hours plus
I think
rambling. We were just gassed.
What people don't realize is when you get tired and you podcast, you talk longer, so it amplifies the issue because you're not concise. You don't move topic to topic quick.
Yeah.
Last night I was, I've been obviously away from home, and I go 3 hours back. So
sure.
So I'm doing bedtime with my daughter. I'm fairly certain I fell asleep before she did.
Yeah,
laying in bed.
Yeah.
And I get up. I fell asleep for probably an hour. I walk out. And my wife's like, I'm like, all right, good night. She's like, wait, you're going to bed? I'm like, yes.
I'm done. It's crazy.
Good healthy 12 hours. So
those 5 a.m. wake up calls and all that stuff, and for 5 a.m. departures essentially for 2 days in a row, and you're there. I don't know. It's the greatest job. Obviously not a complaint, but yeah, we were gassed. It was a fine pod. We were very grateful for the audience. Was great all week. The Saturday, Friday were fun. Sunday we were just kind of. I was looking at you on that couch in between our family is forever throw pillow. Towards the end. I think both our eyes were starting to glaze over, struggling. But we're back. We got a full night's of sleep.
And let me tell you something.
What?
Most importantly, I have a new heightened reason why I do this job.
What's that?
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
My favorite. Mother Teresa, acts of mercy, charity. They're all just accoutrements to the engine. Nothing else happens without golf.
My wife ever complains about me having to go record a podcast. You know what I'm going to say?
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
What an insane phrase by an absolute bozo. Which we had it called from the jump. I'll never forget Wednesday of PGA. Maybe it was Tuesday. I think it was Wednesday of PGA week when this man came into our lives. I know he's been in other lives making impacts with the engine for good. Don Ray, or Rhea.
Don't call him Don Ray. It's Don Rhea.
Okay. Rhea, an interview has surfaced. It appears to be BBC Northern Ireland, I think. That would probably be Stephen Watson or somebody up there. Rhea
what a score getting Don Rhea. Honestly, he wasn't coming on Lunch with the Boys. But you knew he was going to fall victim to someone who was going to get him talking. And the second he starts talking, it immediately becomes a disaster for the organization that he's the president of.
PJ, play the clip. Do you have the clip handy? This is about the fan abuse and other matters.
To see, especially because this week some of the fans' behaviour has perhaps crossed the line in some people's opinion. What have you made of that?
Well, you got 50,000 people there that are really excited, and heck, you can go to a youth soccer game and get some people who say the wrong things. We tell the fans is, listen, booing at somebody doesn't make them play worse. Typically, it makes them play better. And when our American players have to control the crowds, that distracts them from playing. So our message today to everybody who's out here is cheer on the Americans like never before, because that'll always get them to play better. And
hold on 1 second. I just want to interject here. His message today, which he's the only one that said this message, and he said it to BBC Northern Ireland. So his message to people in Northern Ireland.
produced some incredible golfers in the past decades, but there's a very, very small audience this is going to. Very small.
Who don't live in the country that the event is going on
not germane to anyone coming to Bethpage Black at that point.
Let me keep it going now.
And get them out of crowd control and let them perform.
What have you made of some of the fairly personal abuse, though, that has been hurled at Rory McIlroy in particular?
I haven't heard some of that. I'm sure it's happened. You know, it happens when we're over in Rome on the other side, and Rory understands. I thought he handled the press conference yesterday amazingly. But yeah, things are like that are going to happen, and I don't know what was said, but all I know is golf is the engine of golf.
I don't know what was said.
How does he not know what is said?
What a walk-off. I don't know what was said, but all I know is golf is the engine for good. What an absolute just empty suit. You know, when he came out at that PGA, we've discussed like, oh man, you know, that was an insane performance. That was nonsense. But we're way too hard on him. Let me tell you, every turn, every step along the way, we have just been more affirmed in our original position in Discovery. We've only been bolstered that we were correct in tabbing this fella. And we knew we'd have another moment in the sun, Ryder Cup week. This one, you know, they kind of had him in shackles, right? He had the trophy ceremony where he was given less than 25 words, still botched it, said retain the cup, and ran off like the trophy had just been dipped in like hot lava. He had to throw it at him. But we have this interview surfacing now Tuesday. I mean, there's some real serious sort of implications here or revelations from it. But the amusement is about what you would expect. We get it in Rome. Yeah, you got 50,000 people out here. You're going to hear that stuff. He's essentially offering no opinion. As we know, he has no personal opinions. But it speaks to larger, more important revelations, right? I mean, the PGA kind of washed their hands from the situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It basically ignored the situation and then washed their hands of it. Ignored the situation while it was going on. You could make an argument that they actually escalated the situation thanks to their paid MC on the first tee. So they themselves escalated the situation that happened, which I think will forever taint the image of Bethpage Black and American Ryder Cups. And now we have the president washing his hands of it and saying, this is us. And I don't know. I think there was thought of the PGA, being kind of in the crosshairs maybe on Sunday, but this clown, I think that is a fair characterization of him. This clown has now put the PGA squarely in the crosshairs of everybody in golf for their handling of this Ryder Cup. And I think it's a legitimate question of, should this be the organization that ushers the next, 50 years of the Ryder Cup? And are they fit to do? Has the Ryder Cup, frankly, just gotten way too big for the PGA and people like Don Ray to manage said tournament?
There's a lot of subtext to these comments, which you're getting at. But just to reiterate, the text takes zero responsibility, says it was no big deal. The actual text and the words are, you'd hear this at a youth soccer game when you get enough people around. You hear, I go to a lot of youth soccer games. I don't hear, your mother's a whore or something. I haven't heard that or anything like that.
I just watched your wife turn around after you said that in the background.
No, I haven't heard that, but I've Don may be going to different ones out there in Arizona.
I think it's regular, for at youth soccer games, people to be like, have racial slurs yelled at them. That happens at youth soccer games all the time.
So zero responsibility is it's bad. It's wrong. We apologize. He doesn't even have to take responsibility. Just condemn it, which he doesn't even do that. while also like keeping his hands clean. He doesn't even really condemn it. Like, oh, this will happen in Rome. You get enough people, there's gonna be some bad actors. Like nothing on the MC. A funny story about the MC since you brought it up. I got home last night. My kids were asking for like tales and drama from the week. I said I met Ken Griffey Jr. My one son said, "Oh, is that the guy from The Simpsons?" Because he's watched the Simpsons episode he's in. I was like, "Oh my god!" I don't know if that's good that you're into the Simpsons or that you don't know who Ken Griffey Jr. is. Probably bad. But I told him about the MC video. I was like, "Look, like I got this video of this woman saying F you, Rory." I didn't go into the language with them, and she lost her job. It's like I was just getting the chance because they were all out of key, and then all of a sudden she came on the mic, and I thought that was amusing. I was like, so I took it, and it became kind of a thing, and she lost her job. So you Kimmeled her? You Jimmy Kimmeled her? I thought we were for free speech in this country. I was like, no, buddy. Like I didn't ask. Like I was like, all of a sudden,
you know
like,
what you need to
fired.
tell him. I got news for you. What you could tell him tonight.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
I was like, she's got like a real full-time job. I thought this is the PGA. She did something inappropriate. But those are my two anecdotes. But yeah, an apology for the MC might be warranted here. Something. And so the subtext of it is like, this doesn't, honestly, the thing that jumped out to me watching this video, and we're just playing the audio here. I'm looking at it. He's doing it at 17. It appears to be like in the front of 17, which just surrounded by 3-tier glass enclosed hospitality. Then you got the normal grandstands. Then you got the other, whatever's going on, Cap Gemini or some other nonsense going on the other side. And all I've been thinking about like the last few days, and really when I was there, kind of went into it a little bit on Golf Channel, like PGA, the outcome is like, do they really care? I think they probably want to win, but they are there to monetize the hell out of this thing, which they did. Ad sales were up. Everything was up. Like, what investment in the actual competition, winning and losing, does the PGA of America have? And I'm not suggesting, like, maybe I'm taking the player side here where they should get paid more.
They're paying the players now. So that's one thing.
No show clause, maybe.
That's one thing. That's $6 million out the door right there.
So
not to mention whatever the captains get paid.
Getting to your point about is this too big? They have like the European Tour wants to win this. Obviously, it pays the debts and all that stuff. I think the PGA wants to win this, but it's not their players. It's not.
Whoa, hold on. The only player that wasn't a PGA player is Bryson, I believe, because Don has informed us. Don informed us in the first press conference. Well, I don't know if you know this, but all the PGA Tour players are PGA members, and he's the president of the PGA.
He represents them. Like
he does represent them.
It's not their members.
What's my personal opinion on it? There is no personal opinion. I'm the president of the PGA of America.
Bozo. So like you have this organization that has this just blue chip property, and this is a product thing. Like, how bad do they want to win? Because I'm sure they want to win very badly. But what's the primary objective?
Well, here's the thing.
This was a monetization engine.
So Johnson Wagner came on the pod and had an illuminating stat that since the advent of the President's Cup, the U.S. Ryder Cup is 4-11. Now, we can take these stats a number of ways here, but like where that line in the sand, I think it was 93 or 95 is when the stats started counting, is effectively when the Ryder Cup became big business for the PGA of America, is like that arc. And one of the things that they've been able to do is like they've been able to, frankly, like have the more talented team for 30 years. this Ryder Cup was the first Ryder Cup in years where it was like competitive dead heat. Yeah. And that is what has contributed to, I think, what you're feeling of like, do they even care about winning this? Because it seems like the approach of each side couldn't be more different. And I think a lot of that is because they've just been apathetic towards the competition side because they've been frankly more talented for years. They haven't had to work. And that's where Ryder Cup Europe, to make it competitive, has had to work their asses off and create this culture and everything, because they know for the most part that they come in as the underdog every year. And I think like what you're seeing, and Johnson used this comparison, which I think is so true. It's effectively the Jerry Jones Cowboys is the PGA and their handling of the Ryder Cup team in the U.S. Ryder Cup situation. It's a freaking joke. It might be like it's kind of Jerry Reinsdorf Bulls, where like all they care about is box office revenue, and all Jerry Reinsdorf would love to be the 8th seed in the NBA every year because that ensures playoff revenue, and he's never paid the luxury tax. And like this, the PGA of America, and you can tell from the broadcast too, like this is, I can't tell you how many people were just outraged with the broadcast. That broadcast is monetized to the gills.
Right.
And everything that they do, from the ticket prices to the hospitality to the number of people inside the ropes. And I hope, listen, like I think being inside the ropes as a media member is a privilege, right? Like this is like, it's amazing to get to do it. And it helps me do my job at extraordinary level. But I'm sitting there inside the ropes and it's like, oh yeah, my uncle has a BMW dealer, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and we got these badges for the week. This is who's inside the ropes. It's like not.
We got like a real world submission from somebody that almost to a T. Maybe not Bucks County, but almost to a T. Like, oh, when you threw that out on Sunday, we actually had a buddy in there who was basically the example. Yeah, I think like if the U.S. had gone to Rome and beat the European Tour, I think the European Tour is like pretty despondent about it the next day. I think, the PGA of America is bummed, upset they lost, but probably looking at the ledger, looking at how much of a financial success it was, looking at how much people are talking about it, even down to the fans stuff, even down to the ignominious aspects of it, and are like, well, what a week. What a great week. And because that connection to the players, to the captains, is sort of tenuous. It's a thinner string. And like, these are the structural issues with creating a winning culture or a winning organization. You have, Keegan's the captain. I think that was kind of a Seth Waugh was a part of that. I don't know if it was like he was the driver. Seth Waugh's not around. He's gone. He probably would have liked to see Keegan succeed. But this is how it's not a Seth Waugh, it's how the PGA works, right? Ted Bishop picks his guy and then he's gone. And then like, no, we got to do this differently. And now there's a task. Like, there's no consistency. And I heard you and like Johnson talking about, I heard it last week of like, we have a culture here. And there's like, the Europeans are leaning on like Jose Maria to be in the room. I don't know if he's like really doing a ton, but there's a giant motivational emphasis just having him around. But what would the U.S. even go to for that? What is the U.S. culture? The preceding generation is nothing but failure and embarrassment. Like, Tiger Woods is not Ryder Cup culture. He didn't do well. He didn't seem to emphasize it. Like, what are we going to bring Brett rhetoric in? Like, we don't have actually a culture unless you go to like our Azinger is one. There is no actual base to build upon, and the PGA of America is disinterested in creating it. So
can you have a culture if you go 4-11 for the last 30 years? That's the problem.
That's right. We don't have the people to bring in besides like a Zaner. I mean, then you're going to the 80s, maybe. And even then, it wasn't. It's just a different animal.
There's one man that could change all of this whole culture.
What's that?
He was on the grounds this week too.
Who was it?
Larry Nelson.
I think at this point, Larry's just happy to be around, happy to be there. He seemed like, talk about an incredible story. Everybody should read that Larry Nelson.
All-time Ryder Cup snub.
So you like...
But I think like this goes also, though, to... This is an organizational problem. It's not just a culture thing. It's not
totally.
that generation of players was a failure. What is the purpose of the PGA of America, Brendan?
Right, to grow the game via instruction and their members.
And support their members. Their members,
yeah.
If you ask Don who their members are, he might say that they're PGA Tour players. But the vast majority of their members are teaching pros or club professionals.
Who are generally we love and it's like most like
so
really
their
critical.
Job as an organization, everything they do should center around that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The Ryder Cup and the PGA just like plopped into their laps. I mean, the Ryder Cup was a disaster. And then it all of a sudden became the biggest commercial success in golf.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happened to be sitting on the disaster that turned into this, And I think like a lot of things, you could own it. It's a lot like, California real estate where, people have been sitting on these houses for 40 years and all of a sudden they're multimillionaires because the house has just created them, but they can't, it's not like they can move anywhere in California and remain multimillionaires, right? Like the way they get their worth. So like the PGA has become this monster organization, not because of its purpose, supporting club professionals. It's become this monster gluttonous organization because of the success of the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup. These are professional golf tournaments. It has nothing to do with what the actual purpose of the company is, And so, they take all the money and they dump it back into their organization. And listen, I don't have faith in the PGA Tour. I beat up on the PGA Tour all the time. But the PGA Tour would legitimately run this better than the PGA of America. And because their job, what they do as a core constituency involves professional golf tournaments and professional golf from a competition side week in, week out. The PGA, listen, I love PGA pros. And I actually think that the PGA of America, if you polled PGA pros, is not doing a very good job supporting them. I think that's I do think it's time, and I saw Eamon Lynch wrote this today, that they consider licensing this out. If you don't want to sell it outright, license it. Let somebody that run it collect the money and then allow your organization to get very lean and focus on what your actual job is to do, which is to support local club pros and growing the game through local professionals.
If you were lean, you might need a belt to keep your pants up. And if you needed
what a
one,
segue.
You could go to mobjack.com, MOBJAK, mobjack.com to purchase what I consider to be the best belt I've ever owned. Now, I haven't owned all of them, but I've got, 30 years. I had to wear belts to school, basically since I was a little pup. This is the best I've ever owned. It's an alternative to belts with logos around them. It's understated.
We were wearing the same belt on Ryder Cup Sunday.
The exact same belt? I did not notice that.
Southampton.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, the light blue there?
The light blue Southampton.
BJ, you were too? Wow, we should have coordinated that.
We had a team. We were all wearing the blue Southampton.
Well, there's one recommendation. God. I love the light blue Southampton.
Can I just interrupt for a second?
Please.
Can I follow up on something before we get back to Mobjack?
Yes.
I got a text from somebody in the music industry. Me and you got this text.
I saw it pop up on my screen. I saw your eyes dart away. I was like, oh, that's gonna get you're locked in on this.
This text message. This is the last time we texted with this individual was a week ago, actually. The text message is, Don Rea is the symbol of all that is wrong with golf right now.
I mean, not all, but a lot. I'll go there. It's fair. One thing that's not wrong, though, is having a Mobjack belt. I'll tell you. Keep your pants nice and hiked. I guess Southampton's a hit with us. The light blue. You can wear a khaki, the blue.
I'm going to tie this all together.
Yeah.
This is great if you're a consumer to buy. But if you're a local club professional looking for, belts that you think your members might like, this would be a good. I just think this is right in your sweet spot.
They've done customer profiles of their buyers, and a lot of them are members at elite private clubs. And the best private clubs are wearing Mobjack, and you're not like a logo chaser. But great designs. Honestly, you had to pick a few out. I couldn't decide. There were like 5, 6. There's like stripes. There's all sorts of designs. And they take, craftspeople, soup to nuts from the start, made in America, quality, like the highest quality belt I've ever owned. You get a 15% discount at Fried Egg when you use the code Fried Egg, FRIEDEGG, Fried Egg, one word, at Mobjack, MOBJAK. These are people who've been around the belt industry, know belts, and are making the best out there. So you want them to license it. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think,
listen, it gets them out of the business of running golf tournaments, but they still retain the branding aspect of it. They retain the perks of it. Like, they can work out a deal where they can, get some identity of it, but then they let somebody else run it, monetize it, and they get a check, and then they can they can work on their core business.
I'm with you in that the PGA Tour operationally and financially would run this better.
It's not a. I don't jump into this with a lot of faith of that.
I would,
but
yeah, true.
I do think they would.
Where I would not want that is, I think it's important that there are two legitimate, distinct organizations running this, right? I think some of the failings of the P Cup is, and the internationals will tell you this, is like Ernie spoke up about it several times. It's like, the PGA Tour is running it for both sides. I think part of the secret sauce of the Ryder Cup is the adversarial bent of coming from two distinct places. And I think if you get the PGA Tour involved, consolidation is probably great for operations and finances. I think you lose a bit of the secret sauce of the product. I think having two very distinct organizations pushing their side into the ring is important for why it is the way it is. And, the PGA Tour has got its hands in the European Tour, DP World Tour as well. I think you'd lose an element of that product, of that secret sauce, quite honestly. While I think there would be some great benefits, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want it all consolidated or close to consolidated under one roof. Is that a fair point?
I think it is. And I think you could probably achieve some of that with the way you license it. The other option is that they outright sell it, but I think the hard thing, and probably why this doesn't happen, is they probably just had their record, their record-setting effort in terms of a smash success. And I think the question I have it with the fallout of all this is how much damage did you do to your organization's reputation through this tournament?
I think it's hot right now. 2-3 days later.
You think it's just going to go away?
and the U.S. lost. I don't know. No, I think we will remember Bethpage for the sort of the disgraceful aspects of it for forever. I think that will be a citation. I just think it's really hot right now. You think they've kind of tarnished the organization based on how it went?
I don't know. I think it does feel like a moment in the Ryder Cup similar to Kiowa, but like not in a good way like Kiowa, where that's like an all-time battle and kind of when the Ryder Cup became the Ryder Cup with the televised nature of it. I think this is the one where the Ryder Cup and frankly the whole approach to the fan experience and player experience, jumped the shark.
Yeah, I
especially the more of these videos. I had so many friends that were asking me like, how was it out there on Sunday and Monday morning, and I was like, it was really bad. And I didn't have any like videos on my phone I could show people, but like as these videos come out, and obviously the one of the fan calling Rory a homophobic slur like to his face, that like from a foot away, all I'll say to people is like, that happened every single hole Saturday and Sunday.
And I don't want to like grade them on a scale of bad to like as bad as that or worse. I don't know. It would depend. Like you're offending all sorts of different people in different ways. Yeah, that was part and parcel. And I think, that's sort of the embarrassment of the Rhea statement is there's like zero acknowledgement that anything really bad happened. I don't even. He probably wants to absolve himself from it, but at least say like, don't do that.
He got to meet President Trump. He's probably still riding the high of that. He went from umpire to having lunch with Donald Trump.
We did get an unsubstantiated rumor that he was in the presidential suite at the hotel. Rhea, not Trump, that they were staying in. So he's going to the top floor, living nice. So go ahead, Peach.
No, we didn't talk about this on Sunday. This became a hot button issue for like 5 minutes, but I think something even as simple as selling cocktails with squeaky ducks in them.
I saw this happening, but didn't really. What was all this?
So some premium cocktail out there was, I forget the name of it, but some transfusion drink came with a branded rubber duck that you could squeak and make noise. And what was everybody doing? Buying the drinks and squeaking them as Rory's over the ball. Like the way I kept from infrastructure to crowd control to shuttle services to squeaky ducks on alcohol, the way I kept on to my line the whole week was I felt like there was a lack of critical thinking.
I was surprised the security wasn't as it wasn't in place in the way it should have been for everything. Like just getting in different grandstands, getting like guy hits it off the outside the rope line. I was just surprised at how lax it was, really, and it got more intensified, obviously, as a week by Sunday. But I was a little surprised given the way it was marketed. And I mean,
well, part of me wonders. I think like the Ryder Cup to be in like let's talk about positives. I think this is the most discourse that the Ryder Cup's ever had across like sports culture
beyond golf.
Like real, like, Bill Simmons is talking about it. Dave Portnoy's talking about it.
He's talking.
Big Cat from Pardon My Take is tweeting about it. LeBron James is posting about it. Like, golf's never had this, kind of, and the Ryder Cup's the perfect event for this. So to me, like, one of the things that I'm kind of working out in my head is like, okay, like the on-site experience keeps getting bigger, but that's not a scalable size, right? Like you can't make it, can only get so big on site.
I think
like,
that's probably
and they are stretching that to like the nth degree. of how big they got on site.
Yeah.
To me, like the best that the Ryder Cup can be is a smaller on-site footprint. Your fan experience is better. You have way more venues at your disposal, and make the digital product better. And that's actually where like the TV and digital side of this is where how you grow the Ryder Cup. But it seems like, and this is where I would say like this is why an organization that's job is to support local club pros is probably, and Don Rea is a former umpire. Like
this is the organization. You have this guy. This bozo is at the top, like has a place of prominence of the premier event.
So if you thought about the Ryder Cup in this form and put your efforts on, like, if we keep growing this digitally and through our broadcast, that's how we grow. Because if your business, and I get like, keep making the on-site experience bigger, because if your business isn't growing, then it's dead. Is like just the general idea of business in general. So they have to grow it, and they focus on, and they're making this the biggest, loudest, most expensive Ryder Cup ever. And like, what does it do? It completely screws the on-site experience. Like, never has been worse. And I just think like reducing the on-site will have such a huge, and focusing on like, let's make like this reach more people, and the people who reach, let's make them love what we're giving out more and more. And that is the pathway to this. And it just like, to me, that's where I struggle the most. And I don't know if the PGA Tour would take that approach. I doubt it, actually.
No.
But that is the right way, I think, for all these golf organizations to start thinking, because everybody's trying to get bigger with venues. I think the only organization that's not getting bigger and bigger is the USGA has retained with the US Open a lot of venues that they can't monetize to the gills the way they can at certain places. Like Pinehurst, they can stuff, so huge numbers of people in. But they also have their Shinnecocks,
where not going to be a big
it's going to be a small footprint, right?
Right.
And that the TV, that's going to be a spectacle, right? But I struggle with the whole situation. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about this podcast, but
one of my favorite ones. Well, they just overdid it. It was like, what's the purpose of what is this organization trying to do here? Win this, or just? My favorite part was there were so many VIP chalets that looked like absolute shit to actually watch any golf. My favorite was running down the 18th, which is a hole that, who knows if they're getting to the match.
SeatGeek had a good spot
BJ's
there.
Wholesale. Like, what's out on there? And it's below the 18th green, which you're just staring at the side of a hill. And it's like, oh, we're next to the green. But okay, the matches might not get there. And you're looking at the side of a hill and you can't really see anything. There was a lot of hospitality. Go ahead, Peach.
You know what I'd say to anybody who thought this maybe would be going differently, that it wasn't going to be the biggest Ryder Cup ever, or people were not going to be obnoxious given all the advertising telling people to be obnoxious, that kind of thing. You know what I'd say?
But at least you've been warned.
Because you were warned. You were warned. There were a lot of warnings, and whether you ignored them or not, they happened.
So we're gonna get into this now quickly. Do you think Lou Holtz? Well, is that who we should license this to? Phil suggested on Twitter today they should get a Lou Holtz or Coach K.
Lou Holtz is going to be what? I think he's going to be 90 in 2027.
I feel like this is being twisted. He meant a Lou Holtz type.
He followed up.
He
followed up. He needed 2 tweets to get followed.
I don't think it's a coincidence that he led with Lou Holtz, though, in any way, shape, or form.
What do you think his connection with Lou Holtz is?
I mean, some sort of political, like-minded initiative, I would guess.
I would say if Lou Holtz showed up on the first tee for that second session on Friday, I wouldn't have been surprised.
For a minute there, before he clarified, he said like a later tweet, I meant a Lou Holtz type. This felt like that time when Adam Schefter suggested Condoleezza Rice might be a head coach of the Browns. Do you remember that? There was like Condoleezza Rice is a possibility for the head coach.
Remember
you don't
that?
remember that? Oh my God.
Oh.
That's what it felt like. I was trying to think of like worse suggestions, like Tony La Russa. I don't know what would be worse than
Tony
Lou
La
Holtz.
Russa would be good. Jimmy Johnson. I feel like all of this falls kind of in this same. You want to really just be the Dallas Cowboys? Just go get Jimmy Johnson. Like what's Jimmy up to?
I have one. I have an idea, a name
Who?
that gets you both ends of the spectrum, experience and youth.
Who's that?
Bill Belichick.
Oh my God. You get Lisa Pavin vibes real fast with the girlfriend just calling the shots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can appeal to the Z's, and you get the whole spectrum of fans that know Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but then like, what role does Mike Lombardi have? Does Patricia come? Like, how deep does this? Josh McDaniels making pairings? Like,
think about like Jordan Hudson trying to tell Scotty Scheffler what he has to wear and how he should wear it. Like, think about that for a minute.
Who would be your favorite former coaches that could be a Ryder Cup captain? 3. Everybody gets 3. I already got Belichick's one of mine.
I said Tony La Russa would be hilarious.
Tony La Russa would be great.
Total washout. Like,
I just am thinking about him in the South Side socks.
Yes.
City Connect jersey. Yeah.
There's so many
Who
bad
else? We got to
ones.
get a couple more. Jimmy Johnson's in there.
Jimmy Johnson, I think, is a good one. I mean, this actually, I mean, obviously it's not a serious answer, but it's more serious than the last couple. You can't have an open coaching role in sports without Brad Stevens coming up in the conversation to some extent. Brad Stevens is the number one candidate for any job in any sport. So why not call
That's
Brad?
true. What about Theo Epstein? He could be it.
Well, Theo's a golf guy now, so it's.
But honestly, that might not be a bad idea.
You've seen Theo lift
I think it would
multiple
actually
curses.
be a good idea.
Get Theo in there. Like you've rejuvenated like moribund cursed franchises.
But like, here's the back issue. Nobody who's any good, no, strategic thinker is going to sign up to work with Don Rhea.
Well, that's the whole organizational thing. And then it's 2 years later, you got somebody else who wants to put his own imprint on it. And you got a CEO and you got a president. Yeah. And you got an organization that does not practice putting on events other than the PGA. Like they don't do this.
What about Bill Cowher?
Who was that bozo? Who was that doofus Giants coach with the mustache? The New York Giants coach? Ben McAdoo?
Yeah.
Just pulling one out. Just like thinking of him like bobbing along running the show.
Freddie?
forgot about
What about
them.
Freddie?
Freddie Kitchens.
I mean, Freddie's
he would be a
around.
great one.
What about Tressman? Mark Tressman.
Mark Tressman.
Yeah. Guys had so much success in Canada.
I mean, Brendan texted me, start thinking of names. I just sent him the Adam Gase press conference picture back. Adam Gase, who still has not surfaced in 5 years since being fired.
Monty Williams.
Monty would be great.
Gets another bite of the apple after just making bazillion dollars.
legitimately could see Billy Donovan's name being floated.
That's
Billy's got to coach the Knicks first. What if you get put somebody to push the pace? You really want to take this thing to the next level? What's D'Antoni up to? Just throw Mike out there.
7 seconds or
Tibbs.
less.
You want somebody to pour over the details. Just make something his life.
Tibbs
like
could
everybody's
have
talking about
some
pouring over the
electric-
details, being dedicated to something, their life craft. No man in sports represents this more than Tom Thibodeau.
No, and he would have some electric tracksuits. The tracksuits would be incredible. Red, white, and blue.
You know what? I do think it's kind of silly that the captains wear the same clothes as the players.
Well, they had the J's on.
I know, but I think they should just be like wearing like, I don't know, sweatshirt or something, t-shirt.
I mean, I thought it was for this week. It was kind of less than ideal that the wives had on like the matching uniforms, like
Yeah.
like I mean,
Easily
obviously many
identifiable.
of them are beautiful women and they stand out, but like it was like, yeah, you could easily identify them, which is like a sad commentary on like what maybe needed to be done. We're like 48 hours past. Andy, do you think like the PGA has to say anything more? Has to like the discourse is hot. I think some of it's quite stupid, and I'm done like engaging with it. Like it was bad. That's declared, and anybody pushing back.
Do you think Rory crossed the line covering up Bryson DeChambeau's name with the flag?
I have zero interest in engaging with anyone who suggests that is on the level of the same degree or therefore triggers. I would say you are a snowflake if that offended you. You are a snowflake if you think that then permits the vulgar nonsense that got thrown at him. Like that is fun and games. Bryson and he chirped each other. He won. And he had a little bit of fun with the flag over his name. And if Bryson did it, I would have thought it was cool and funny and awesome too. That is like the spoils of victory. And it's not offending anyone or hurting anybody. And you're soft if you think that is somehow is on the same level of getting heckled.
I do think the PGA needs to do something. They need to step up and relieve Don Rhea of his position.
Oh God.
I don't want them to relieve him of his position until after the PGA next year because I want any European Ryder Cupper to win the PGA next year. Rory would be doubly great, but I'll take any of them.
I just can't believe that comment where he didn't say anything acknowledging it, let alone apologizing.
Was that from the Monday after?
No, it had to be
Sunday.
I think it was Sunday morning.
Looked
yeah,
like
that's
Sunday
what I thought
morning.
Too.
His coat and tie.
Well, just remember.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
One more thing, I just am done engaging. Like the people talking about the fan stuff are just idiots, like shouting back and forth. We know what it was, and we know it wasn't okay. Paul Azinger had some comments, I believe, to the Subpar podcast with Rory. This was not as to the fun of the flag over DeChambeau's name, but said Rory probably turned down $500 million not to go to live. He is a European, and we see how much he wants to beat our tour, but he stayed here and fought for us. He fought for the PGA Tour, so I love him for that. But today in the press conference, after it's over, he's saying that I think golf should be held to a higher standard of decorum. But in the meantime, he says, F you, F you, F you, in full voice for the world to see. He turns around and says to the guy, shut the F up. The guy in the media asks how did it feel that Rory tells him, it felt pretty effing good. And so Azinger says, I'm like, which is it, Rory? Is it that golf is held to a higher standard, or are you just going to F you the fans and act like that's okay? I love Rory, but you can't say that. You can't say that the fans need to behave better and then in the meantime lay them to waste. You can't do both. You have to be one or the other. I would say it's not that black and white, one or the other. I think there is like context. I don't think this point is like totally off base.
I agree with some of the point.
Yeah.
I think you would never know how you'd react in the moment until you've been subjected to what he was subjected for, effectively at that point when it really boiled over was probably hour 15.
Yeah. I think when you're over the ball and someone's shouting at you, you can turn around and tell them to shut the F up. That's a visceral reaction. I think like the F you, F you, F you, F you to the crowd, like that's starting to like meet them where they're at a little bit and engage it. But also there's the context of being in that for hour 15, like you said. And I think just to say Rory is to blame for anything or he was partly to blame for the environment is kind of reaching. But I think there's some kernels to truth in what Azinger was saying. Anyways, between that and the flag thing, it's been a 48 hours of pretty stupid shouting back and forth discourse when the truth is kind of just pretty obvious. And I'll say this, the Euros are having a field day. They're like feasting it. They won't let it die. They're like, they probably want, a special commission to be created. They also are extending it a little bit.
Well, how apropos is the zombie Rory song about being in their head.
Yeah.
And how much is that going to play at a Dare in 2 years?
Yeah,
Is like
nonstop.
Rory's absolutely in a large subset of the American fans' heads. He might be in some of the American players' heads as well. And I think, I would I think like if you talk to Rory in 6 months, I would bet that he probably will not. He won't regret the F you back to the guy that said something when he stuck it to a couple feet, but the F off at the after he made the putt. I think that probably with what Azier said probably is like he at that point was kind of inciting. But like I said before, I just think that everybody has this idea of how they'll handle something until you're in the situation. And until you're in the situation, you just have no clue like how like it becomes. I mean that whole situation becomes just charged with emotions with what was going on, and I completely understand where it got to and why it got there.
Yeah, and you're competitively on fire already. You're on edge, like as a competitor. And anyway,
the good news is we could. I'm sure we'll get some Whoop numbers and understand how elevated.
Another place where you can dial in your numbers is with Perfect Practice. Dial in your putting numbers. Go to perfectpractice.com.
After watching the Ryder Cup, I know I need to dial my putting in because there are a lot of putts being made. Do you think Justin Rose is using a Perfect Practice, Matt?
I'm not sure. I think DJ uses one.
I honestly know DJ used this one.
Looking at some of the numbers from that, like beyond after I got home Monday and today, it was a total disgrace. It was a total disgrace how easy they made that. And it was like that the U.S. dominated them tee to green, dominated them on approach, and that it was playing easier than pretty much any PGA Tour course. Throw it out there. Detroit Golf Club, Vedanta Vallarta, Amex.
And it's Bethpage Black.
Yes, and it's the warning sign course. Just a total putting contest. And to prepare for that, you could go to perfectpractice.com. Get the highest quality mat for a realistic putting experience, crafted with unique crystal velvet material that ensures smooth and precise ball movement, simulating real greens. It's easy setup and put away, convenient auto ball return, fun and challenging for all skill levels. It has training lines to develop a straight back and straight through stroke. You go to perfectpractice.com, use the promo code SGS. That's just 3 letters. Easy. SGS. You get 20% off at perfectpractice.com, the most realistic, highest quality putting mat on the market. As winter comes, that is or cold months come, that's something to stock in the house.
While we're on Perfect Practice, I got to ask you.
Yes, please.
I asked Johnson Wagner, what do you think about DJ as the next Ryder Cup captain?
I think it would be fine as long as we have a beefed up statistical operation and assistant captains.
You're saying he'd be a good coach if you spend big on the coordinators.
Yes, I think maybe that's right. He'd be good for our purposes.
It'd be incredible.
He wouldn't give you much to work with probably in the speaking role, which is essentially what a lot of this captaincy stuff is. That'd be good. Yeah. Anyways, we're on to Adair.
Probably wouldn't, might be a good thing if he didn't listen to the stats team.
Well, we might have something in the Wednesday Fried Egg newsletter, a little high heat for the stats team. So subscribe to the Fried Egg newsletter. Let's go. Also coming this week, schedule for the week. Full. There's so much golf this week. So much golf.
Sanderson.
We got the Sanderson, the Chicken Championship, Sanderson Farms Championships in Jackson, Mississippi. It's the second full field event of the FedEx Cup Fall. It's 4 to 7 p.m. on Golf Channel. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3:30 to 6:30 on Sunday. Notables: Akshay Bhatia, Luke Clanton, Max Homa, Mackenzie Hughes, Minwoo Lee, Francesco Molinari is playing. Kevin Yu, I believe Rasmus is going from now Sanderson. He's probably well prepared. Bethpage played about how Sanderson Country Club of Jackson is going to play.
I think Sanderson's going to play harder.
It might. It honestly might. So Rasmus is playing. I think they put Frank Molinari with Zach Johnson, which is the PGA Tour just doing him dirty. Ryder Cup hero, Ryder
They probably
Cup
got a lot
failure.
of stuff to talk about, though. That's what they were thinking about. We could talk to them. They got a lot to catch up on.
Not a good field, as you might imagine. Ryan Armour and Matt Neesmith were sponsors exemptions. Ryan Armour, the original, the mule coined the term mule. But you have the young guys, Lasasso playing, Clanton and Sargent. I'm hearing rumors coming across my desk as we record this that, quote, Gordon Sargent has turned a corner. So who knows? Maybe we'll see old Sarge back on the battlefield.
You think he shot a worse ball 66?
I don't know.
I would love for him to turn the corner. He's, you know, I think with this young era of golfers, one of the things that's important is to go through some sort of adversity at some point. Yeah. Because you're going to hit a cold spell, and the younger you go through that adversity, the better served you will be later in your career.
Yep. The last 5 winners are Sergio, Sam Burns, Mackenzie Hughes, Luke List, and Kevin Yu. So this brings the legends of the game to the top of the table. That's your Sanderson Farms Championship. We'll talk much more about that on Friday. Elsewhere, we have the Alfred Dunhill Championship, the Links Championship. This is at St. Andrews Old Course, Carnoustie, and Kingsbarns. This will be good coffee golf, if I must say so. 7 a.m. to 12. And then 6:30 to 12 on Sunday. Great coffee golf before football in America. Watching, Carnoustie and the Old Course, Kingsbarns. We have notables. A handful of Ryder Cuppers are going there. Hatton, Fleetwood.
Could be event of the week, but it's not.
What's going to be event of the week?
But it's not.
What's event of the week?
Well, event of the week is the Wyndon Memorial Classic.
What's that?
It's Matt Fitzpatrick's alma mater's home tournament. This year is at Knollwood Club. It's a club that I spent my formative years caddying
biased, myopic event of the week, but it is your title.
Do you know who won the Wyndon Classic? It wrapped up today.
Who won? Northwestern?
University of Illinois.
Oh, there you go. So there we go.
Great championship, great golf course, great university wins it.
They came into hostile territory because, as we know, Chicago's Big Ten team is not Illinois.
I was surprised no team called me to ask me if I could shepherd them around the golf course.
Do you think they were taking fan abuse like the boys at Bethpage were? Illinois in hostile territory, Northwestern territory?
I could see some of Nolan's members getting out there and getting chippy with them. Upset that they're taking it to the home team.
Congrats to the event of the week. Notables for Dunhill Links Championship: Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Hatton, Bob McIntyre, Harry Hall. And we got some cheeky notables: George Katsia, Dick Sterney, Dion Germashus, and Eldridge Potgieter. So, Johan Rupert runs this, so there's a lot of South Africans get involved. Dick Sterney in prime time, Dion. Good to have him in the mix. We have Gavin Green, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Richie Ramsey, Joe Dean, and Dion Germish. That's supposed to be football players.
Love that.
Dan Brown, Dan Bradbury, and John Patterson. So some of the foremost authors of our time. Sam Bairstow, Jacob Scove Olesen, and Teddy T-Tac. So you got Bairstow, Piss Bear Jr., and Teddy Bear, Teddy T-Tac. I got that one. Wilco Nienaber, Elvis Smiley, and Alex Del Rey, musicians. Wilco, Summer Teeth.
Summertime Sadness.
Harrison Crow, Anthony Quayle, Aaron Cockerill. So a lot of them. Live Boys playing are Koepka, Cam Smith, who I guess is still a professional. Reed, DJ is already over there hitting balls. Bubba, Pooj, Uline, Steely, who was driving carts last week, I think, at the Ryder Cup. Matt Jones, Martin Keimer, Oosthuizen, Caleb Surratt doing Caleb Surratt things, Freddie Ketchup, and Tom McKibben. So just a boatload of Live Boys there. And celebs in the field. I know you're always interested in this. Andy Murray, Bill Murray, Huey Lewis in the news, or just Huey Lewis, no news. Michael Douglas, Wayne Gretzky's playing. I wonder who he's playing with. You think he's going to play with, Koepka or maybe, Elvis Smiley? Probably not. Dave Farrell, who I don't know who that is. Are you familiar with Dave Farrell?
No,
Lincoln
clue.
Park, I'm told. Lincoln Park.
Oh.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
Not Chicago Lincoln Park.
No, I believe the
Linkin.
Yeah. Yes. Tom
Peach,
Chaplin.
are you familiar with Lincoln Park's work?
I am, but is he's the bassist. I Googled him because I was like, the lead singer of Linkin Park died. So I thought maybe this was the replacement, which would be somehow even worse.
Of course, we know this is the famous story where Westy and Darren Clark stuffed somebody in a locker. One of the celebs saying they weren't a sportsman. That's your Dunhill Links Championship. We got other notables, but that's it. Other events, Lottie Championship, the Lotte Championship.
Oh, man, this is the backup. This continues. The Lottie's Challenge. The Lottie's Challenge continues.
Send us pictures.
Anybody that goes to Lottie's this weekend,
Chicago
timestamp
bar.
it.
Chicago
in
area.
Chicago. Anybody that goes to Lottie's
Bucktown,
takes a picture while watching the Lottie Championship. The Lottie's Championship will get a little SGS care package sent their way.
Where is that? Lincoln Park, Bucktown? Where is
it's
that?
in Bucktown.
Bucktown. Lottie's.
Oh, God, I miss Lott.
I've been in there.
I might go to Lottie's next time I'm in Chicago.
The Lottie Championship.
The last time I was there, I drove past it, and it killed me. I had my daughter. I was like, I can't go into Lottie's right now.
The place like that, don't you just want to? You have to go get like a natural light, just a cold.
No, it's not that divey. It's not that divey. And if you're going to Chicago Dive Bar, the drink of choice is a Hams.
Okay. Hams. All right. The Latte Championship or Lottie's Championship is 7 to 10 p.m. Cocktail golf. A great place to watch it is at a bar like Lottie's. 7 to 10 p.m. I guess that would be 6 to 9 Central.
So you have to go and get them at the bar to put it on.
Take a picture, tag us on Instagram. We will regram every single one of them. Watch the Lottie. You have to ask for LPGA golf at Lottie's in Chicago.
And then you'll get your care package.
On the Champions Tour, we have the Constellation Furyk
Sunday
and Friends, Timuquana Country Club. Furyk and his friends at Timuquana. This is 12, where is this? 2 to 4, Friday, Saturday, 12:30 to 3:30 on Sunday. Timuquana.
I gotta say, great events this week.
Crawling with Ryder Cup flavor at Furyk and Friends. A lot of friends. I wonder if they all flew down together.
Do you think they're going to ask him to comment on the fan behavior? I'm sorry, Tom Watson. I'm sorry. We know it's bad. Why does he have to interject with a statement on Twitter? And then everybody gobbles it up. Do we have to hear from the descendants of Walter Hagen? Everybody's got to comment on the... Yeah. Like, we know it's bad. I don't know. Tom Watson is thirsty, I thought.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get into the discourse.
They are. The Furyk and Friends.
Tom Watson wants to get his way back in. Tom Watson's throwing out like if I was in charge, this wouldn't have happened kind of thing.
Anything we need to know about the Furyk and Friends, PJ?
You got Thomas Bjorn, victorious. Jim Furyk obviously is hosting the tournament. My new best friend Davis Love, Corey Pavin, Colin Montgomery, and Tom Lehman, all also people that were in Bethpage this week. So I wonder if they all flew down together. It's going to be a good kumbaya session coming off some high tensions, I'm sure.
Friday, you got to tell the stories of your travels with Davis Love III, walking around watching Ben Griffin, Rasmus. Sure. You had some great stories of the chatter with DL3. PJ and DL3 become fast friends. And then Corn Ferry Tour, we have the Compliance Solutions Championship. This is at the Patriot Golf Club in Wausau, Oklahoma. This is top 120 players in the standings. It's third of 4 events in the KFT finals. Top 75 move on to the KFT Tour Championship. This is 12 to 3. And then tape delayed, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Sunday. So you got all these high stakes playoffs, and you get tape delayed on Sunday for the Compliance Solutions Championship.
How many events do they have left?
This is the third of 4. This is one more after this.
One more after this.
Yes. Yep. So they got 120
down
to 75.
Bubble Boys for a second.
Okay.
So there's only 20 cards.
Yep.
God, Julian Surrey's in right now. Remember the Julian Surrey run of...
Yes, Duke Blue Devils. This guy's going to make it. He's gone the Koepka path, coming from Euro Tour to DP or to the PGA Tour.
To Teeter Totter's 24th.
Of course he is. Of course he is. 4A.
This feels teeter-totter going down to Oklahoma and winning is just like some stories write itself.
It's like 38, going to be right back up for some September call up. Yeah, that's your full slate. A lot of golf. You've got Sanderson, Lottie's, Constellation Furyk and Friends, Dunhill, and then KFT all on TV. You got kind of wall-to-wall golf on Golf Channel. I think that does it for this Wednesday, first of the month episode. Anything else you want to follow up on? We good? Peach? Anything else?
I don't know. Hoping for the best for our playoff baseball teams.
Well, we just lost 2-1.
We're up 2-1. We're relying on our bullpen to close it down.
At least both of your football teams have at least one more win than the Jets might get all year. So you've got that going for you.
How was Monday night for you?
It's just a continuation of one of just every time you think there isn't another kick around the corner, it's just hits just keep on coming. It was great. I was exhausted editing Johnson. I have the Jet game on in the background. I just completely zoned out for a good 15 minutes looking for a file that I had open in front of me. It kind of all hit me at once right there. It's great. It's great stuff.
You're taking the day off tomorrow, right?
I don't know.
Get some time for yourself.
You got to just chill. PJ needs you got to shut it down for a day.
Hosting everybody in Long Island all week, It's the PGA. Eamon led me down a dark alleyway.
I'm still pissed
on
at
TV
you.
yesterday to have me take the position that the PGA should be pulled from Bethpage in 2033 because we've seen this fan behavior over and over again, and the PGA of America has to pull it and relocate it. Not happy about that.
Do you think these people aren't just going to get on a train and go to Southampton next year? It's not that hard. Why don't we just move everything then? I predicted this to a T. I nailed this. You have to give me credit. I didn't know it was going to come from you. But did I or did I not tell you that this was going to happen?
in the back.
I mean, I've got to
be Brute at 2.
Eamon kind of dog walked me down an alleyway there. I before I knew what was happening on live TV, I was taking this position.
March 15th all over again. I don't know what day it is.
My bad, PJ.
I can't believe you did it to him. But Peach, I have a message for you to remember when you're editing those golf podcasts.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.
All right,
so know that you're part of the engine of good whenever you're editing a podcast and you're tired.
Every podcast we do is bringing better good into this world, no matter what we say.
I'm about to walk into my house. I'm going and I'm going to say, honey,
I'm sorry
I
late.
participated in the engine of good today.
You did good today. You did good.
I don't know what you did, but I was part of the engine of good.
So every Sunday when we skip church and we do a podcast Sunday night, you can say net probably more positive. So
every time I can't go to a Sunday birthday party because I have to watch golf.
We're doing a podcast. This is more.
Listen, I know that this 5-year-old birthday is important, but I'm part of the engine of good.
All right.
You can start saying this when you go play your personal golf, and you're getting
true.
When it's Sunday morning, you want to go sneak out for a round. You say, "Listen, golf. All I know is golf is the engine of good."
But you know what golf being an engine of good is at the end of the day?
What?
What's my personal opinion on it? There is no personal opinion. I'm the president of the PGA of America.
Sounds like one guy's personal opinion to me.
Hey, when you think about this, what an insane thing to say is so much bad shit was happening. All I know is golf is an engine for good. When you literally have bad stuff happening because of a golf tournament right in front of you. All right. That does it. We were going to talk about Crump Cup. Bobby Wyatt wins that. Reinstated.
There's plenty of time for that.
Bobby Wyatt, who just sunsetted his PGA Tour career he was like a bona fide PGA Tour player.
Not a KFT, not America's PGA Tour.
But to be fair, he went and took a job at Goldman Sachs, and I think he worked a lot for a while. But PGA Tour member wins the Crump Cup.
Pine Valley. Yeah. Yep. The big cup from the weekend. That does it for this first of the month episode. Delightful chat with you fellows. We will talk to you guys again on Friday. Send golf advice emails to SGS Golf Advice. A lot of that coming this fall.
If you send an email, you too are part of the engine of good.
Also, it's October. Maybe start sending some Halloween costumes because we're going to get caught on the back foot with that. We might give out a listener submission. Start sending those and we'll flag them. Talk to you guys on Friday.
But all I know is golf is the engine of good.